Are we good?
I'm gonna murk everybody.
Check 1, check 2.
Check 3, check 4.
What? Are we live? Mm-hmm. Son of a bitch. MC Flipside in the house.
That's right. Don't wear it out.
WLP podcast brought to you by Moog Audio. Go to moogaudio.com for all your DJ gear needs and production needs. And by our good friends over here, Mill Street Brewery.
Salute.
Cheers, people.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Bravo.
We just got off the soccer tip. We've been discussing some Euro Cup action, ladies and gentlemen. There's not to sway from the meat and potatoes of this podcast, but we had some interesting developments going on in the second round here.
Definitely.
Italy playing England on Sunday.
Greece playing Germany. Portugal playing. Who do they play again? I know France.
Czech.
Yeah, Czech Republic. That's going to be a tough one, but I think they'll win. France versus Spain.
Yes, and
that's going to be good.
It will be. And like we were saying, it brings out the best and worst in everybody. If you're going to watch these games, people, just calm the fuck down. We don't need the people stabbing and killing each other, lighting flags on fire. It's all about love. It's all about people having a good time. Watch the games with respect and respect each other.
Exactly. Not to get all preachy, but the racism, like, are we really still at that level? Like, as much as technology advances, we're people. We coexist. Just have fun. And I'm kind of embarrassed that some Italian kids burnt Portuguese flags. I'm ashamed. I woke up today like feeling really low about that because it makes the real honest people look bad. Because I do not, like, those actions are totally against my moral code. I would never do that to any flag, period.
100%.
So anyways, just be safe out there and watch your back because there's some hooligans and it's sad.
Definitely, and it doesn't have to be just in Europe. There's hooligans everywhere. It doesn't even have to be about soccer. Just dickheads everywhere.
I remember 4 years ago, true story, and then we could get to the meat and potatoes. I was at a Tim Hortons at Dufferin and Lawrence.
Okay.
And I remember it like it was yesterday. I went in to get a steep tea because I think their coffee tastes like donkey piss.
Mud water.
So I'm in there wearing a Juventus jersey, which is my club team. And then, I also like Real Madrid in the Spanish league, and I like Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga because I'm a big soccer nerd. So I'm in there wearing this Juventus jersey, and there's 4 Porto fans.
Okay.
So as soon as I walk in, I can't even believe I have to tell you this story. It's so ridiculous. I'm standing in line. They all stop, look at me, start speaking Portuguese, which I speak fluent Italian, so I understand what they're saying like 70%. And they were basically calling me some really bad names, saying they wanted to see where I'm going after outside, like carayo, puto, like all these words that I understand, And I was like, I texted a couple of my friends because I was living with, was a roommate with Chris Vench at the time, who's running my tech house label. And I said, I think you need to get here just in case some shit goes down. So I grab my tea, I go outside, sitting on, the bench, just waiting calmly. And they were like right by me. They started going towards me, standing there trying to intimidate me. So it looked like it could have gotten ugly. I was like, fuck this, I'm walking out of here. And I heard them, like, as I was walking away, yeah, you better walk away. Over a jersey.
Unbelievable.
Over a jersey.
A couple ham and eggers over a jersey.
Damn humanoids.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about 1 week away from, 2 weeks away from Digital Dreams, one of the biggest and first Toronto EDM festivals in downtown Toronto. We have a little ticket giveaway that we've been doing for the last 2 podcasts, and this is the final podcast where we're doing it. So at some point during Mr. Flipside's show, you're going to see something pop up here or something pop up back here or down here.
Like magic? Yeah,
man. Just the logo. You spot it, check the time, and then email it to whitelabelpodcast@gmail.com. And you could have your name drawn out of a hat on Friday around noon. We're going to announce the winner on our show, on our Facebook page or our Twitter account. And from there, you guys are going to be going to the show. So just check it out, check the time, and there you go. And also DJ mix contest. I have sent, or I've had received a lot of mixes from people, and everything's looking great so far, guys. So keep those coming, and you could be sitting right where Flippy's sitting and have your own little promo video put together. Supporting the young talent, that's what we do. And sitting in front of me, I've been trying to get this guy in here for a little while, trying to get his contacts put together so I can have him in front of us and in front of you to educate the crowd, the masses, about what house music's all about. We're going to get down into the nitty-gritty today, folks, and really break it down, this thing that we love that we call house music. And I've had a few guests in here that have worked with Mike over the last couple of years, and they come highly endorsed you, and here we are. MC Flipside, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thanks for having me on the podcast.
My pleasure, buddy.
It's nice to be here. I'm going to get a little bit comfortable.
It's all good. I first, let me just set you up. I guess going back, I'd say 1998, 1999, I first came into noticing your name on flyers, and it was Energy 108, Friday nights, yourself, Man's One is Strong, Club One, Energy 108 Live to Air is one of the first times I had become exposed to like a proper live to air with proper house music.
Thank you.
And you were emceeing as well as DJing with Joe and Fab. And I guess before that, I saw your name on a mixtape, and it wasn't even a house mixtape. It was a buddy of mine had you emceeing over a drum and bass mixtape that he had put out. You ever heard of a guy named DJ Dappa?
Of course, I know Matt very well.
There you go. And he
Scarborough crew.
There you go. Scarborough. Hey, represent. We had I was working with him. Went to high school.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy, and he had your mixtape that you emceed for him down there, and that was a Flipside. Interesting name. And that was back, I guess, 97, 98, something like that. A long time ago. So even before house music, man, this guy's all over. It doesn't have to be EDM. It's drum and bass. It's a jungle. It's massive.
Yeah. That's why MC doesn't stand for Master of Ceremony. It's actually music creator, because I love to sing. I like to write lyrics. I like to produce the beats. I like to arrange. I like to direct. I like to have my hand stirring many pots. I love the whole experience of what goes into creating a sound, and there's many tracks that people don't even know I'm behind, where I give my guidance in tweaking productions. Like I used to work, as I see you have a lot of vinyl behind you, which makes me happy. I used to work with Stickman Records very closely.
Yes.
And I helped develop many producers. R.I.P. Evil P. I helped him with his sound. Paranoid Jack.
Nice.
Who went on to become one of the best this city ever put out. I actually brought the demo to the Stickman, and I said, you need to sign this guy before he becomes something that you won't be able to touch. And they heard the demo, and they were like, what? Wow, I need this guy on the label. I'm like, I told you. I told them to sign. It's a funny story. They had the demo of Eddie Amador, house music. They were like, it's the sample of Raven Maze is played out. And I was like, it doesn't matter. There's a magic there. They ignored me. I'm not saying I know all the answers, but I have a degree in broadcasting and film. So the one thing I learning from people like Wayne Williams and Scott Turner is you've got to listen and you've got to feel the hook in your stomach. And if you don't feel that hook, the record won't have legs, and it won't last, and it won't stand the test of time. Whether everyone might agree with my approach, you can't deny when you hear, remember the first time you took a hit? It stays in your head. And whether we like hip-hop, whether we like pop, whether we like rock, if you look at any song that has stood the test of time in any genre, the writing is the foundation. Now, with house, some prefer it vocalless, and I understand that, but then you need a producer who's strong melodically or percussive-wise. For example, Canada's Carlo Leo lately. What makes his sound more unique over someone else? It's the texture of his drums. They are the vocals of his track. You know what they are as soon as you hear them. There's a sound there, which he crafted for many years. I have demos of Carlo Leo from 6-7 years ago with like Sharpie. See Leo, what do you think of this? And he'd give it to me, and I ended up signing 3 tracks off that demo.
Nice.
I'm
trying to think what the first... I'm drawing a blank right now, but I had his first CD that he gave to Danny at WMC in 2005. We were down there. But yes, there you go. That was it. Yeah.
It's funny how he's changed though, because there he was a bit, for the first 2 years, I'd say he was more housey, but you started hearing it 3 years in, how he started going tracky, and then he became techie.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool. So that's a little bit of history on me.
Little bit of history. Well, let's go back even further, man, because, I mean, before the 108 days and before, like you said, you had a degree in broadcasting. How did this all start for you? Like, how did you become attracted to the music first and foremost?
Well, I'm a music nerd. It's funny, my friends like, you're kind of like Christian Bale in the movie American Psycho. You know, useless facts, except I don't kill people. But I I guess when I was a child, you know, my cousin Rosario was a vinyl DJ, and I remember we would go over like every other Saturday because it's my dad's sister's kid, and I was like 11 years old, and this is aging me a bit, but I don't really give a fuck. I'm in my 30s, and I remember I heard, "Come on, let's work. Come on, let's work it to the bone, bone, bone." And I remember I kind of was like, "What is this? This is amazing. This is so good." And he's like, "It's house music." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And he's like, "Oh, you like this? I have another song. Ha, 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 House Nation. Ha, 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 House Nation." And I was like lighting up. I still remember it was like in a yellow sleeve. I could close my eyes and smell the vinyl.
You can always remember the picture and the color of the record.
Like holding it, and he was like, "Wow, you're really taking to this stuff." And then he played me that, and then he played me "Break for Love," and I was just like, "Wow." And then the other cool thing about it was he was also playing me freestyle before it was mutilated by the Guidos.
Okay.
When it was produced by Louis Vega, Todd Terry, you know, songs like Silent Morning, when it was more of an urban sound, like a black
Downtown
sound.
Miami
like,
sound.
Yeah, it was soul music before it got butchered by Genos and IROX. You know, it was soulful, it was cool, it was the Latin house music. That's why, like, I mean, if you look at some of those old records, Louis Vega produced them. And India, who he ended up marrying in the future, and then they did I Can't Get No Sleep a few years later, sang on them. So Todd Terry produced a lot of that stuff. I was into that, and then I heard Depeche Mode. So my cousin introduced me to the new wave, to the more black sounds of house, like, you know, the African Americans that were developing it in Chicago, and then the Latinos doing the Latin freestyle, and I was hooked. You know, and then fast track a few years later in high school, and I was able to start going to clubs like RPM, where I heard Matt C play. And then I would listen to, like, you know, Chris Shepherd and Deadly Headley on the radio. And it started developing my sound. Then in 91, I started hearing breakbeat and Detroit techno. And that kind of started getting me, like, into the harder edge stuff.
Okay.
So, you know, from that, then I got into techno, Jeff Mills, Richie Houghton. And then I got into drum and bass through the breakbeats.
Okay, so your style, it morphed. I'd say it took about 10 years for it to get to a specific point. We're at about late 90s at this point.
Correct.
Okay.
Mid to late 90s.
Okay. And from there, what was your first, I'd say, break into the nightclub industry? Because you'd be going there at this point. You wouldn't be playing there or performing there at this point.
It was... I used to go up to a lot of parties, and it's funny because I first started off as a go-go dancer.
Really?
And this was like 93, 94.
Okay.
And I was just a teenager, and, you know, they would ask me to... I can't even believe I just admitted that. No one knew that about me. But I did do it at raves and parties, and I can show you videos. It's hilarious.
You got to send us one.
Please.
We'll put one on the podcast.
Dude, it's
here.
so whack.
Is this YouTubeable or is
It's like
this
Jersey Shore 20 years ago, you know?
Okay.
I was like a little junglist, but hey, man, it was fun and got me into parties for free. And me and my buddy Honorio used to do it. He was like this big Jack Sicilian guy that we used to love going to house parties, you know, because our high school, they were like, we were so into hip hop, and the other Italian guys back then, it was like Stevie B or die. And we were like, no, man, die. You know, like we wanted to hear like, follow me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the real shit. So we would do these parties, and then at around 16, 17, I would pick up a mic. My buddies would DJ, and they were like, yo, that's pretty cool. And then I was like, oh, let me start mixing. So then, because I've been rapping since I was like 13, in my head I realized, oh, mixing is like rapping. So when I catch the beat with my vocals, I have to catch the beat with my ear and use the pitch control to match the kick drums. And then I learned how to mix when I was like 17. But my first break came through going to house parties. In my hood at the time, there were DJs like Neil and Kane, and Matt C's cousin worked with me at Canada's Wonderland.
Nice.
So I would freestyle working the games. And I'd be like,
Okay.
check 1, 2, come on.
Nice,
$2
nice.
to play the race. Come and catch your taste. If you spend $5, then you get 3. Then you might make yourself some victory. And people started coming, and they were like, oh, cool. And then Matt C's cousin David was like, yo, come check this guy out. He's really good, man, and he understands house. So I showed up at 16 Phipps Street for Destiny Fridays, and I went up to Matt C, and he's like, oh, so cool. You know, I was like a teenager. Like I was like fresh-faced, like so young. And I'm like, oh, if you know, just let me get on the mic and give me a chance. And I remember he dropped Josh Wink, I Am Ready.
Okay.
This was like 95.
Fresh.
And all of a sudden, you know, dum 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 dum, and then it breaks. I am ready all night, baby. And then you know it breaks down, woo, 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 and it goes into hip hop.
Yep.
I started rapping at that time. And then it was something like, you know, blah, 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 in the place to be. It's the one and only DJ Mad C. Wow. And then a track built up. It was like perfect timing. I hit the post. And then
boom.
The build up. And he was like, from then on, he would call me, hey, I'm playing a party. You want to come and MC? And then I would like sneak in and like DJ the odd after hours for Ronnie First, you know, like before Comfort Zone existed. And then my break on radio came in 96, where I went on a show called Street Beat.
Okay.
So my positive energy and humble attitude, not bothering people, and I would never beg for a gig. I would ask, and if they said no, I wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, you just...
Slowly, the odd person started being like, oh, this guy's cool, man. He's not like a ball buster, and he's just wants a shot. Mad C was a great connection for me because he was so respected, and he opened a lot of doors for me, and I'll never forget that. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Industry Nightclub because they really brought a lot of credibility to my name, and Scott Turner and William Williams helped bring me to the masses, and it's an undeniable fact.
Cool. That's it, man. There's history right there.
I don't like when people forget their roots. I think it's actually pretty pathetic.
Oh no, it has to come from grassroots. It has to come from where you started. You should never forget that. Anybody who does forget it, it just shows a lot of character about that person, right? I mean, it's all about where you came from.
Like, I don't talk to them every day now, but if I see Mad C, it's always that mutual respect.
Oh, for sure.
And you know, if I have Scott with, you know, lunch with Scott Turner once a year, you know, we try to keep in touch, just have our catch up. You know, we've moved on, but those were the roots on how the MC Flipside brand started to, you know, pop up here and there.
Cool. And we're taking that, I guess, you mentioned Industry Nightclub. They had the amazing run from, I guess, 96 till about 99, 2000. And then here we are in a new decade, a new era. And I'd say right around that time is when you started getting into the production studio, and we're getting into the early 2000s now.
And touring a lot, because
Yes.
I started touring with Freaky Flow.
Okay.
And we ended up putting out a CD in 99 called Tits. And I was also putting out DJ comps.
I have the sticker that was on every single one of the posts and record crates all over the city. There was Tits and Ass, and it was always Freaky Flow and Flipside, and it was I must have grabbed a stack and put them on all my record crates when I was like, you know, 19, 18.
I mean, I could talk to you for hours about this stuff. You know, we met in 95. I threw a party. It was called Reality with Evil P. We used to be business partners. And, you know, Freaky Flow was there, entered the competition, even though it was a house event. People were mesmerized by his scratching. And then we went on to have, you know, a good run of almost 8 years of touring around the world. You know, we were the first Canadian duo to play in the UK on a regular basis. We were playing sold out shows all over the world. It was amazing. But just to clarify with people, I was always a house DJ. The heads know that because I was putting out house mixes on Stickman in 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. It's some people in between thought when I was touring drum and bass, they didn't think I was still doing house, but I always was. It's just that I wasn't always looking for the headlining status. If Paranoid Jack did a record and I helped produce it or co-direct it, I wasn't like, oh, you have to put my name beside you. I don't like people like that because I'm a firm believer of my destiny will unfold as it's meant to be. So if I give someone a hand, that's still their creation. I'm just helping them along the way, unless it's a hook that I wrote and I actually sit there and work on the software for them and engineer it. That's different. But if I'm in the studio and I'm just like, I think you should change these notes and the hook will be stronger and the bass line will be better, I'm not going to bust their balls and demand, you know, a credit. I think people like that, they're weak in their mind.
Very egotistical driven.
Yeah, and they're begging for fame. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
you gotta let the music talk for you.
Definitely, 100%, man. Okay, so having been in so many facets of electronic dance music throughout the last 20 years almost, now owner of PBR Records.
Yes.
What does it take, I guess, give the fans and the viewers a little backstage glimpse at what it takes to start up a record label?
Well, You know, it's changed a lot. I'm mesmerized by the vinyl behind you. I remember those days when I worked behind the scenes where you create a track, you produce it, you've got your DAT, you send it in to get mastered, they cut a lacquer, and this lacquer, this magnetic lacquer, gets filled with liquid vinyl, and then it hardens, and it gets pressed, and that's a record. So back then, you know, you could sell a crappy record would do, you know, 1,000 units. And if you were lucky, you could do 10, 20, 30,000 vinyls. Nowadays, the key to running a digital label when I started PBR in 2007, luckily I had a good relationship with my radio background because as you know, I hosted Trippin' on Energy on Energy 108 for like 6.5 years. And through that station, I became good friends with like Todd Terry, Bad Boy Bill, even in the techno scene, Richie Houghton. I used to do the transmissions broadcast for them, John Acquaviva, and I'm still to this day in touch with these guys. You know, like if I see Richie Houghton, there's always that respect because he trusted me to host his radio show. He would say to me, Flipside, I don't want too much talking, no emceeing, just introduce the show, make sure you give the people a background on the DJ, and that's it. He wanted it very clean and minimal, which is his style. Fair enough. So in 2007, I reached out to Bad Boy Bill. I said, Bill, people don't know this, but he's a partner in Beatport. I said, I would like to start a label with Beatport, but I don't want to have an aggregator. I don't want to have to go through a third party. I want a direct distribution connection with Beatport. So if I send in a track, I want to be direct. So I make more money and I have a, you know, you need to have business savvy. It's not always about rock and roll
100%.
and lights, and you got to like understand this to succeed in a world where people steal music for free. You need to be shrewd.
Definitely.
Okay? You're not going to be Avicii overnight. That's a complete fairy tale. That happens in what, 2 percentile? So like get with it. So I connected him. He said, okay, well, what kind of stuff do you have? Let me hear it. He heard it. He's like, oh, cool. Good artwork. I hired a graphic designer who now works for Capitol Records, who does all this stuff for Ivana Santilli, Belly, you know, in the pop world. And I wanted my shit to look fucking tight.
Yeah.
So I sent him the artwork for the first 4 releases. We signed like 5 tracks. Bad Boy Bill sent it to Beatport. He said, hey, this is Flipside. They're like, oh yeah, we used to book him through the drum and bass scene. You see, again, doors open.
Everything happens for a reason.
Because of the past.
For sure.
So I'm so blessed that I used to play for the owners of Beatport, used to throw raves as Together in Denver. So they used to bring Freaky Flow and I three times a year. So they were like, oh, he's doing house now? And Bad Boy was like, no, man, he was always into house. It's just he got more known in the U.S. for his voice. But he's starting a label. They're like, oh, cool, yeah, we'll put him on. So the first release on PBR was in 2007, and it was Mateo DeMar featuring me, Freak the Frequency, which ended up getting nominated for Juno in 2005 on Robopop. So that opened the door with a lot of people. Then we established a good promo mailing list, which was imperative to get the top DJs in the world to know our brand. Once we had a few releases in that got respected and got plays, by the 3rd release, Judge Jules had already featured my song Have a Nice Day on his show. So then it started trickling. Then I started telling A-Division, my partner, okay, I don't want it just to be an electro label. We need to have house and tech house mixes for each release. Because what I noticed on the feedback, certain DJs like Rene Amez or Axwell, who are all on our mailing list, like this mix. Then we had, you know, some Chicago DJs that liked the more techie mixes. Then we had guys like, you know, Manuel de la Mar or Alex Kenji that liked it more this way. So by having 3 or 4 types of mixes per release, we started developing a fan base. And at the time, I will fully admit that between 2007 to 2009, my success was absolutely hanging on the threads of electro. I will totally acknowledge that. But that's because when you're an A&R, you have to be intelligent and put your ego aside. Even though in my heart, I lean towards playing house and tech house when I'm at home, I also know that as a record label, like a restaurant, I can't just serve guacamole. I have to have a menu that will cater to vegans, gluten-free allergies, and that's how I treat a record label.
100%. It makes total sense.
And that's why now I have DBR. I've separated the two. So PBR will cater to these, you know, the people that are into big room and electro. But my heart, even though I love signing good big room, I've always been a house guy because that's my foundation.
So you managed to keep that together with the new subdivision of what you have going
Correct.
on. Okay. And that was actually like one of my other questions would be because of all the different subgenres. And I hate labeling all this and that, but at the end of the day, there is so much music out there. Would you think of bringing, PBR around to having like maybe even a drum and bass division where you could bring some of your roots back to that?
I'm a little bit too far gone from that scene.
Okay.
Even though I still like people like Andy C and High Contrast and Pendulum, who just broke up, which is
I just saw that. Yes.
kind of sad.
Yes.
But I'm still a fan of the rolling drum and bass and the soulful liquid drum and bass. I'm not really a fan of MCs that banter for the whole damn set. I like guys that know how to pick their spots, like a Dynamite, who when he comes on, it's like, and like when he starts spitting, you're like, gets you hype, and then he shuts up and he lets the mix come in. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go to parties, and if you've ever heard me play a Comfort Zone, I will not even pick up the mic more than 2 times. Hey, Comfort Zone, what's going on? Flipside, hey, cool, yeah, good morning. That's it. Nobody wants to hear you rambling over, Could you imagine a guy emceeing on Grindhouse? I would take the mic cord and, like, choke them.
Yeah.
Have some respect for Dubfire's production. Like, no, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I'm DJing and, like, I'm about to do, like, Just the Tip or Hi Friend, and guys will be in the crowd, like, when I'm on tour. Oh, hey, can I MC? It's like, are you retarded? Like, really? I'm doing Hi Friend. Hey, Cardinal, let me sing the T.O anthem while you're at the TFC game. Like, where's the respect? Too many starfuckers, man. They want to be Swedish House Mafia overnight. They don't understand that those guys, like, I remember I met Steve Angelo years ago, and he was making house, straight up house.
Yeah.
Okay, before people went on this tirade of saying, Swedish Fish Mafia and all this nonsense. Go back and listen to his discography.
Oh,
he was making
definitely.
underground shit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And if he went in a different direction, hey, man, that's his business. You know what I mean? It's like when I did electro, a couple cats, like, I've played some parties and promoters, and they'd be like, oh, Flipside, doesn't he just play electro? It's like, well, clearly you didn't go listen to my mixes, Trippin' on Energy 1, 2, 3, where I'm licensing Hippie, Halo, Frankie Bones, Christian Smith. I don't really care. If people are some fans have asked me, does it ever bug you when people label you as one style or think you just MC? And I'm like, if they don't have the knowledge to go on Google or on YouTube and listen to different styles of music, it's not my fucking problem if they're ignorant. You know what I mean? I don't take it personal. I just look at it as, you're talking out of your ass.
Fair enough, and you're gonna get those people everywhere, dude. At the end of the day, they exist, and
yeah,
it's just haters, man. They, everyone's trying to take you down from that mantle that you've built yourself on. I mean, you've built your brand, you've built your lifestyle in the last 20 years upon just building blocks and foundation. And people, like you say, if they don't want to research that, then that's their own business.
No, it's like, to criticize, a guy like Wolfgang Gardner is a perfect parallel because he was a deep house and Chicago house producer. And then, he heard Deadmau5 and other cats that he liked. And he went from making, the jazzy, more sexy house to this kind of aggressive yet beautifully produced musical electro that maybe isn't for his older fans. But if that's what makes him happy in his heart, who are we to criticize it? We don't have to, if you're not into his new stuff, that's fine. But to sit there and be like, oh, I don't think Fifth Symphony is a well-produced track. Well, that's just, again, ignorance.
Well, then it comes down to the whole, like, you sold out. You're not sticking to your roots and your own sound, and, you're playing that sound that everybody else is selling out to. So at the end of the day, it becomes like a whole money issue, right?
But when I hear him play, to me, I really think that's who he is now. Because you can tell when someone's being a fake. You can see it in their mannerism, and you got to use your damn intuition.
Yeah.
You know when someone's a fraud. I think he just likes electro.
Well, fair enough. I mean, their tastes change. They morph over time. I mean,
yeah, of course.
That's how you grow as a person musically, right? I mean, if you stick to the same damn sound for 20 years, I mean, no one does. And if you do, there's something wrong with you.
Can I ask you a question? Does Rush's first album sound like their last?
No.
End of story.
That's it.
Let's use a recent event, Radiohead. Radiohead's sound from the very beginning to the very end is absolutely completely different. They're not the same band. They evolve. Everyone has to evolve musically.
It's true. Look at the Bends and compare it to, Kid A.
Yeah.
Come on, it's like two different bands.
Yeah.
Or the Roots' first album,
compared to what you're hearing now.
you know,
nothing,
to their latest.
Yeah.
Or you could say that about
it's a completely different band.
Gangstar, or there's like a common thread in their identity.
Yeah.
But are we the same as we were when we were 16, 17, 21?
There's a certain, like you say, chain element there. I mean, Primo's, you know, his production, his loops, and the way he came across, that grindy sound was always there, you know?
Boom bap.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, you know, he's changed too, right?
You have to.
You have to.
Better mixed down, better sound quality. Things change. Technology changes. You have to evolve with the times.
For sure. Well, having all this knowledge, and I guess becoming you know, owner of the label and whatnot, and all the subdivisions, you must have guys throwing you just nothing but promos and just music in general.
Yes.
What do you look for when you're looking to sign a track?
Okay, for me, it's very important that I hear quality of production, the technical aspect, how well is it made, is it clean, is the mix down at a level that can compete with the big boys? And I shouldn't say that because there's female producers now, like, and there always have been, but let me rephrase that. The big players, because I love Nicole Mudaber and Maya Jane Cole, you know, so that was wrong of me to say that. I apologize. But the sound quality, the technical aspect. Then, when I'm listening to Big Room, I look for electro melodically, the chord progression. Is it hooky without being too corny? Because I don't want to just sign it because I think it might be the next Levels. Not saying that Levels isn't a good track, because when I first heard it, I loved it. And I still like it. I don't care if it got played out. It's a good song. But I look for that memorable edge, that factor, that X factor that you need. Then for Tech House, I look for that sexy, subconscious, subdued hookiness that you get from the drums. And then the bass line. And it has to have that late clap. I need that swing. If the swing isn't there, I don't want to hear your man shaft beats. I don't want to hear the stiff stuff. You can get away with it in electro, because if the drums are, you know, do 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 do, you need that stiffness because it allows the chord progression to pop
stand out. Yes.
But in Tech House, no. It's like hip hop. It's got to have soul.
It's got to have soul. It's got to have rhythm. It's got to have that feeling that you either get or you don't.
Because if it doesn't have that lag and that hypnotic effect, then it is not going to work. Because it's just that style of music. It isn't hooky. It's subconscious. It's a hypnotic groove. And if you listen to Motown and you strip it down, so that's, to me, Tech House is soul music.
Agreed. 100%.
So it needs that, and that's what I look for.
Well, there you go, people. If you're going to send any promos over to Flipside, PBR, make sure you've just got your shit on lock. And you don't just come with some flop shit, because, you know what? It'll get listened to, but it probably won't go too far.
No, I'm really good like that. I try to give people answers on Facebook, and I tell them I like this part of your track. But I think sound quality, if I put it out, I'm doing both of us a disservice. Because sometimes I get a good song with like a sick electro hook, but the drums and the sound and the fatness,
there could be parts that are lacking, but parts that are good. So I mean,
they would get crushed by the competition. So it's almost like I'm protecting them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and that advice is good advice, because at least, you know, you're sending people on the right path, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, you know, well, your song sucks, get out of here, I don't even listen to it at all. At least you're giving the feedback, and you're giving the positive feedback that they might need to get them pointed in the right direction.
Correct.
Right? Cool.
Like it's not that I know all the answers, and ultimately my opinion is just my opinion, but at the end of the day, on my monitors in my studio, if I play, you know, a production by Jay Lumen, and I compare it to yours, and if it doesn't match it, what am I supposed to do?
It's gonna get lost in the mix.
You
Like,
know?
it's not gonna sound as good. And then when you hear that sound, I know what you're saying. That sound and like something of Jay Lumen's caliber, the way his stuff is mastered, the way his
Correct.
stuff is mixed. I mean, it has a sound, and it's just if yours doesn't, it doesn't.
I'm not being a hater.
No,
it's not that I'm, you know, it's not that, oh, I just signed my friends. That's not true, because, you know, out of the blue, we've signed a ton of Jerome Robbins stuff. And sometimes when he sends me tracks, I'm like, can you change this and this? You know what he says? Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And now we make tracks together, you know? You got to put your ego aside. Like when I did High Friend with Deadmau5, he was like, don't talk about you, don't talk about me, don't say our names. The rest is up to you. I'm not like, oh, what the fuck, blah, blah, blah. Why? If I'm in the studio with Hatiras and like when we did Open Up Your Eyes and when I sang the whole, every day is a similar situation, he was like, cool. I didn't like that note. That one's cool. Maybe we should change the kick drum here. Or like when we made Autograph and I was like, oh, maybe we should make the riff go do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And then he's like, okay, cool. And what if the answer goes, And it was, you've got to put your ego aside.
Yeah, and that's what furthers the music, right? It furthers
Correct.
you as an artist. You're learning from other people's crafts. Like Bruce Lee says, you take different parts from other people and you make it your own. And it helps you grow as an artist, right?
Yeah, I thought Chris Vench and I just did a remix for a track called Jazz Hands. And honestly, I tested out the mix down at the Red Door party for the Loopity Goose Gord's birthday. And I told him, I said, the mix down, it's a bit tricky because we're fucking with a jazz sample. And I'm disappointed, because we did another remix and the mix down was perfect. And on that one, it happens. We're having problems with frequencies clashing. So if I'm going to go back to the drawing board, you better fucking believe it. I'm going to do it with your demo.
For sure, 100%. And like you say, it's perfection, people, and you should settle for nothing less.
The competition is rough.
And it's in abundance.
It is. You've got, whether you like Skrillex or not, that's the dubstep standard.
Yep.
Whether you like his music or not, the sound quality is retarded. Then for Tech House, you've got the J Lumens of the world, Seb Leger. I'm sorry, but their stuff sounds like it's three-dimensional and got mastered by fucking, George Lucas, Dolby Sound. If you're not at that level, I'm sorry, I ain't playing it.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. And it should be a reflection of yourself, because if you're putting on your label, the first thing people think of is Flipside, PBR. So I mean, if it's going on your label, it should be at your quality and your standards to be on there.
People might not like all of the releases on our labels, but they can't question the quality.
Well, that's different strokes for different folks, like you say. I mean, like you say, there's better mixes, there's different mixes, there's different songs. I mean, you have a little bit of everything for everybody, right?
Well, do you like every release on labels you like?
No, not at all.
Exactly.
That's it. You get a solid handful, and the rest of them, I'll pass. That'll go in the hold bin, and then it'll just go into, purgatory after that.
If you can have like a percentile of 50 to 60%, then you have a good label.
There you go, 100%. Having been, I guess, in this scene for so long, and you've seen the change and you've seen the metamorphosis go on, and I'm talking about Toronto in general, how would you compare the past from the present?
Well, I think in the past, and some people might not like what I'm about to say, there was a little bit of division between cliques, but there was more positivity. You had the Stickmen working with Nick Holder, working with, Mateo DeMar, Jason Hodges, Peter and Tyrone working with, X Crew, and Matt C with Kenny Glasgow, and then sometimes they would all get together. And I think sometimes in the old school, Destiny would work with Liquid Adrenaline and Life Force and, Gen Star, and then they would book me, and I would work there with Tricky Morera, and everyone had their own individual, crew, but then we also did the unity parties. And I think we need to see more of that now, because there is too much back chatting. X amount of people talking shit about this label and that label, and I don't give a fuck about what these guys are doing, and I'm not into art department, and I don't like this, and MC Flipside can lick it, and Hatiras was whack, and I don't care for Carlo Leo. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
And trust me, I hear people. You see them online, if you search names, and Sydney Blue this, and it's like hard work, perseverance.
Yeah.
Let's put our egos aside, you know what I mean? I've had Carlo Leo on my label. I've done stuff for Sydney Blue.
And then you've had stuff like Deadmau5, which is a completely different spectrum.
I've signed Luis Sastre. I've had the Junkies on my label. I've had Hatiras. I've had, worked with Adam K in the studio. I've released music with Mateo DeMar. I'm not saying we're all going to be best friends. Some of them, it's not like I talk to them all the time. But there's a respect there. And that's, I find in the new school, because EDM has now resurfaced in an even bigger way than the boom that it had in the late 90s when it was called electronica. It's now become pop music. And I see a lot of people complaining like, oh, these guys are making 100 G's and Farina got kicked off the decks. I'm telling you, there's a crazy division, because you see Jamie Jones on one side of the spectrum and Crosstown Rebels. Then you have Avicii, Tiesto on the other side. Jamie Jones said it best. If it, people like David Guetta help my career. So I might not like what he does, but it opens the doors for me. For Jamie Jones to say that, that's an amazing thing to say. Because I agree with him. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I tweeted yesterday, I'm so sick of some of this McDonald's house music. Okay? And don't get it fucking twisted.
There is a lot of
come say it to my face. Come question it if I don't like real house music. Because clearly you're sleeping. Get the fuck up and go look at the discography. Because I used to get really angry when like cats would be like, oh, you just like electro? Dude, I gave Bad Boy Bill a Hatiris cassette tape. Told him this guy's going to blow up. I gave him a CD that said Liquid Adrenaline. Do your homework. It's like being a racist. You're ignorant. You know what I mean? And I used to get really mad about it. And I'm speaking from the heart. Now, I don't get angry because you learn in your 30s to one in one ear and out the other. Mm-hmm. So now it's just like, put that ignorance away. Guetta ain't going anywhere. He's got too much money. Let's hope he opens the doors.
For more people.
And once the click-clack and all the nonsense implodes, house music will
survive.
Yes.
There you go.
It always does, guy.
Yeah, that's it.
Remember in the 2000s when it was all, I never knew there was a love like this before. On every radio station, I said a hip hop, and where my ladies at? Yeah. On every radio station, everyone's like, oh, I'm so sick of this hip hop, which is not even hip hop, it's hip hop.
Yes.
What happened? It pushed hip hop back to the underground, and now you're hearing these new cats like Blue and Elzai and like Slaughterhouse, because I still like hip hop, with guys that are like bringing that fire back on the mic when it's about metaphors and punchlines, and they're starting to put out the music, and the quality of hip hop's getting better, Yeah,
it's almost as if like it needs to cycle back into the underground to resurface and find its roots.
Because that middle road of house, like how come we can't see a guy like ATFC in Toronto? It pisses me off. I want to hear some just straight up house. Mm-hmm. So that's taking a hit right now because you've got the super underground house, which I like, but sometimes I want to hear that bumping defected sound. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that we haven't had a defected in the house in Toronto yet is pathetic.
Mind blowing. Yeah, we got
Let's
so
say the
many
truth.
great venues. Yeah, imagine them at Sunnyside. It'd be incredible.
We haven't had Simon Dunmore play here yet with ATFC, with My Jinkos, all the defected cats, Chocolate Puma. No. They haven't been here yet?
And they're just banging out hit after hit. Like, what's going on?
It bothers me, but that middle ground of house will always remain and sustain.
Favorite room to play? Locally?
Comfort Zone.
Favorite room to play internationally?
Beta Nightclub in Denver.
Well, I thought he was going to say Waterloo. I'm like, wow, that's a choice.
Beta Nightclub in Denver, and there's a club that I really like playing at in Japan, and it's a Japanese name that I can't pronounce, but it's in... I was just there. It's close to Okinawa, and I forget the name. I have to look it up.
Okay.
But I just played there in December.
Favorite city you visited through your work?
Oh, wait a minute. I like Soho and Sydney, Australia, too. Probably Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
Was good. And I really liked Colombia.
Fair enough. Okay. Favorite city you visited?
Like as a DJ or as a tourist?
As a DJ, what's brought you your craft? What's taken you around the world? I mean, it doesn't have to be about the music or anything.
I like Amsterdam.
Yeah, well, why is that?
Not because of the obvious things, like red lights and weed. It's actually not because of that. I think what I love about the Dutch, they're so versatile. One night they're at a minimal party, the next night they're at a bingo players party, then the night after that they're at a David Guetta party, and they don't give a rat's ass.
Really?
They support each other. Nicky Romero will be at an underground show and then playing a big room show, and no one gives a rat's ass. They are very supportive of one another.
Cool.
Even though they might be competing, Afrojack will be at a Chucky show and at a Laid Back Luke show, and I think we should learn from that.
Who do you look up to for inspiration?
Michael Jackson and Prince.
The two big ones. Fair enough. From a DJ perspective.
Louis Vega, Jeff Mills, Danny Tenaglia, and I'd have to say for drum and bass, I was really into the way Randall used to mix. He was technically 10 out of 10.
Fair enough. Okay. Who should we be on the lookout for in the next coming months?
Maya Jane Cole, man. She's going to be the next superstar, in my opinion. She has the look, she has the marketability, and the production is
Stellar.
And then for electro, there's, I'd have to say, who's a new guy that I really like? Oh, a guy from Holland that I just discovered, Boris Dekkers.
Okay.
He's only like 20. He's unbelievable. Crazy sound quality.
What about locally? Who's coming up from our bed? And
now,
this is from your perspective. People who might have shot you something that we don't know a name. You may break somebody right now.
I think Nat Savello is incredible. I think Nat Savello is a very talented guy, and he gets better and better. But I'm really fucking feeling Luis Sastre, man. Okay. That guy, he has got that sexy Cuban sound in his beats, you know, like. And for Big Room and Progressive, not because he's my business partner, I implore you to go listen to A Division. Wolfgang Gardner, when he was here, I had dinner with him and Joel, with Mousy, and we were hanging out, and Wolfgang Gardner point blank said, A Division is my favorite new producer.
Check him out.
For electro, Luis Sastre for tech, Nat Savello.
And Maya Jane Cole's in the deep department.
Correct.
Okay. And it's such a great turnaround with that style. Just to break away for a second, like how deep house is just completely just made like a 180 come back, and it's almost like the go-to sound for the summertime.
It is.
I mean,
it's a little bit more heavy now, and
yeah.
It's got better production, so that bottom end makes up for, because it used to be a bit acoustically stale and sonically it didn't compare to like trance, no offense.
No.
But now they've got the production with the sexiness and the classiness down.
For sure. Maxi Sound System, that's what I'm feeling recently. Proper.
Nice.
Where can we find you next?
Oh, and sorry, I like Jerome Robbins a lot too locally. I think
Release records, people.
I think he's a beast. Where you can find me next, this Friday, the Summer Hummer with Donald Glod for Activate Productions. Happy birthday, Andy. Then on June 23rd, I will be driving up to Ottawa. I will be playing at Ritual Nightclub, which I was the opener for Mouse's show after we did the Junos together.
Yes, I saw that. How was that, by the way? It
was amazing. What an experience to see things from a pop perspective. It really opened up my eyes, and I'm proud to see his success.
For sure.
Then after that, June 29th, I'll be at the Pride main stage.
Okay.
June 30th, I'm playing in Halifax, Nova Scotia for Underdog Productions, which is like the guy. He brings over Heather, Farina, like all the best house guys, and I'm honored to be playing for him for my first time in my career. And then on July 1st, I'm at the Bella Vista in St. John's, which is looking to be a sold-out show. I have a lot of followers in Newfoundland, and I'm very blessed.
Gotta love the Newfies, man.
They're the best, man. Such good people. And then I'm gonna spend a few days there for holiday. I'm gonna go shoot some rifles, and I'm gonna go fishing in the ocean. I'm pretty excited.
Cool.
Take a little break from this confusion.
It is, man. It's very confusing. There's a lot of shit going on, man. It's this. I find that Canada Day, this time of year is just nuts. Everything just explodes because it's the peak of summertime. Everybody is out. They're losing their minds. They want to have a good time, and it's just we capitalize because we just get to deliver it to everybody, right? Outside of your latest release, Rotunda on PBR, what else is coming on the label?
My new solo project called Good Night Out, which is more of a big room. It is more of an electro style. I also have another track that I produced with Carl Trix, who's part of the Bingo Players crew. He's from the Netherlands. We did a track together called Scenes to Grow, which is house. It's really good. Then I have 2 tech house remixes with Chris Vench. One of them is for Luis Sastre and Iron Mike, called This Thing, which I think is going to do really well. And then Jazz Hands. And I have 2 other solo productions, which I don't want to say too much because I don't want to confuse people. But the one that I will mention is called Rec Shop, and it's tech house, and it's probably one of my best tracks. And Dragano is getting re-released. Hopefully, I can't announce it yet, but we're working on the paperwork. But it's for one of the biggest labels in the world, which is more of a main room track. And another one called Verse Zero, which is dedicated to my friend that just passed away. And it is a progressive track that I produced, and I'm very proud of the melodies I wrote. And that might be getting signed to another big international label. We're just in the middle of negotiating.
Cool, man. Well, congrats on all your success, buddy.
Thanks, man.
How can people get a hold of you if they want to send you any demos, if they want to check up on your gigs, what's going on, what's fresh?
www.mcflipside.com, facebook.com/mcflipside, twitter.com/mcflipside, and for demos, mcflipside@rogers.com.
And there you have it, people. Mike's gonna go rip a set for you guys right now. As far as what we got going on, Digital Dreams coming up, Canada Day long weekend. I'll be ripping 4 to 5 in the Canada stage. We'll be there both days, giving you the lowdown on all the artists, all the festival, filming, recording sets, getting all the backstage access to give you guys the same sort of behind the scenes you get from guys like Flipside coming in here. We're gonna bring that to you outside of the studio. I'll also be at Fiction this Saturday night. We're also doing the Northern Lights boat cruise this Sunday. What else? Oh,
Look at you blowing up.
Give it to me old school, man. We're ripping at Maison, me and Addy, on
nice
after party for Digital Dreams. We got a big artist coming in. I can't say who. Just check it out, man. It's gonna be sick. And maybe some late night shenanigans too. So keep it posted to my Facebook as well as Twitter and all of our good stuff we have going on.
Congratulations on the gigs.
Thank you, brother. And let's go do what you do best.
All right.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
There we go.
I want some dirty beats. I want some dirty beats. I love the dirty beats. I need those dirty beats. Dirty beats, yeah. Is taking over, we are deep in the music. We get lost in the music as we're searching for meaning or a reason or a season in this lifetime, handing us a lifeline we're thankful for. Dirty, dirty beats make me wanna move my feet, got me feeling complete. Dirty, dirty beats got me feeling the heat as I freak the technique. Dirty beats, yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you about this thing. Called house music, 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 house music.
yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, petro, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, petro, agua, edam, da, yaba, check it out, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, petro, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, check it out, agua, edam, da, yaba, petro, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, petro, agua, edam, da, check it out, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, petro, agua, edam, da, check it out, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, yaba, agua, edam, da, check it out, agua, edam, da, yaba, 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 agua, edam, da, check it out, agua. I think I sing it again. 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 Check it out. Edam, da, yaba, agua, 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 edam, da, yaba, agua. So right now, you listen to this music, you listen to this vibe, 'cause it's not about feeling it, it's about listening to it. And when you listen to it and you connect with it, then your feelings take over from head to toe, controlling your soul. You know what I mean? That's what house music is all about. Just like they say in that track, it's a soul thing, a body thing, a spiritual thing. Around the globe, worldwide, recognized by all of us, that unified through the vibe of this music. You know what I'm saying? From city to city, from block to block, whenever it drops, we see the place rock. See, for me, it's all about swing. The space that lies between the percussion, the bass. That millisecond where your body reacts to a rhythm and a groove. And suddenly, the conversation between you and the speaker begins to unfold. When it drops and when it hits, up in the cut while taking over the mix, it's gotta have swag.
But it's